was always inquisitive. My parents determined early on that they were going to just let me go and see what happened. So I used to run around the house with a tool belt, 3rd and 4th and 5th grades, fixing things, taking apart things. I definitely had a strong passion for mechanical things. School was not my thing. My parents had a friend that owned a hardware store, and another one owned a locksmith distribution company. So for Christmas, I got a huge bag of padlocks and even handcuffs or pseudo handcuffs with keys. They were all functional. I worked Saturday from 9 to 5 in 6th grade or so in the local hardware store, Ravinia Hardware. I was also working at Stash's hot dog and hamburger shop. But working at the hardware store, you learned about screws, paint, shades, waxes, polishes, stains, plumbing, just so much stuff you learned about lock cutting keys, learning locksmithing techniques from the owner of the store. So at around 12 years old, I kept reading in these magazines or on the back of matchbooks. We wouldn't smoke cigarettes, but there was a lot of cigarette machines in those days. People would not pick up their matches. So, there was advertising on these matchbooks. So one of them said, be a locksmith, earn big bucks. So I found this locksmithing institute of Little Falls, New Jersey. I never really finished it because I got mad at them because they promised me a key machine. I'm definitely one who will rebel if I don't like the situation. My parents nicknamed me Fast Hands. So I was quick to take things apart. When I took apart the lock and springs things pop all over the place, you go, boy, am I in trouble now. And you have to figure it out. So I engineered it out, figured it out. So I had this van, graduated high school. My parents co-signed for the van. I must have gotten a lot of work and produced because I paid the entire van off in 1 year. I said to myself, if I can do this for a year, solid, and stay busy 15, 18 hours a day, then I'll make the next year. I made the commitment to be in business, to do my own business for 1 year. Then I would review, and I said if it went really well, I'd commit after a review, self-review, with my own brain, that I would make a 2-year commitment. And after a 2-year commitment, I said I'll make a 4-year commitment. But things kind of took off with some traction with the locksmithing. I asked Ralph Huff and Marv Miner, their partners, who makes the best security system. And Ralph and Marvin both endorsed this inventor named John King from King Research Labs in Maywood, Illinois. And he would teach me about his invention called the sonic transducer. I was not in the alarm business. I was just looking to secure my own van and tools. And it grabbed me, the inventor side of me just got me really juiced up on the deal because he had this secret. He taught me and trained me, and I installed the alarm with his son in my van. At the same time, my father wanted a top quality alarm in his new Cadillac. And I showed him this unique alarm system that King Research Laboratories made. It wasn't lick 'em, stick 'em, and we forged a really good relationship. But we wound up using the car alarm, and then he said, would you ever think about using my alarm in a home alarm system? Do you have any clients that want home alarms? So John King got a bug in my ear about that, and I found a couple of clients that were willing to have me install in the home. My grandmother was living in Florida, and I wanted to install some locks in her house. So I brought my Zero Halliburton case with all my tools in it. There must have been $800 of Snap-on tools in 1976. That was a lot of money. I stopped in the Peachtree Hotel on Peach Street in Atlanta, Georgia, to go to the National Security Show, which was in its infancy. Meet up with John King, who referred me to go to the show and learn more about the industry. And I checked in, and there was a big sign that says, not responsible for anything of value in your room. So I was still pretty green as far as locksmithing and knowing the knowledge of stuff. But I said, well, that's no good. I got $800 worth of tools. So instead of asking them, can I lock up my tools somewhere, I decided to take apart the lock. I don't know what possessed me to take apart the lock. I just wanted to look at the lock. I wasn't going to try and make a key or anything like that. It was a metal key. But I took it apart because I was oblivious. And the lock sprung into pieces. And I scrambled to put the lock back. And I had a couple pieces of a new lock cylinder. So the hardware is silver. The key portion was gold that I had. The maid couldn't get in the next day. I in effect changed the locks on the doors. And I had long hair down to my shoulders, and I was 18 years old. I was followed around for the rest of the show, 3 days, because they thought I was some international thief or something trying to decode the master key system, the hotel. So I'm at a party. I'm 18 and a half years old. A gentleman named Phil, who was actually friends with Dean Zielinski, my friend from Dean Guitars. And Phil was drunk as a skunk, high as a kite. And he said, hey, Keith, you ought to call the company KEYTH Keys. I was Keith's locksmith, K-E-I-T-H, locksmith and handyman service. He goes, you ought to call it KEYTH Keys, K-E-Y-T-H, K-E-Y-S. And I said, hey, Phil, not a bad idea. I think I will. So I decided to class up the name to KEYTH Security Systems, Inc. As I was starting to evolve into playing with alarm systems. So I knew when I went in business, almost the very first thing I did, the first or second year in business, was pursue a logo. I just wanted a logo. This was the way to do business, to have an identity, a graphic identity. I don't know how I knew it, but you start to breathe it and feel it. And then once you were able, some of my first giveaway were keychains with my logo on it. I started to promote myself by knocking on doors. When I say knock on doors, I do a lock repair at a grocery store, and I would hit 5 stores to the right and 5 stores to the left and say, hi, my name is Keith from KEYTH Security. I was just doing some locksmith work. Perhaps you don't need any work now, but would you keep my card? I just tried to squeeze in anything I could to promote myself personally. There's nothing like the satisfaction of a job well done. And when you could create that job and you're the master of that job, and people give you respect back and money, that's like a triple win. My parents did me a favor. Even though I didn't do well in school, they raised me in a neighborhood, the wealthy North Shore of Chicago, where people could afford my type of services, and where many of the homes exude quality and fine living. So I would have to say that my taste for fine things, my eyes for quality, because I was exposed to it in a touch-feel, real-time atmosphere. I was trained by everybody. I was trained in life, I was trained in business, because there happens to be doctors, lawyers, business owners, the highly successful people. I'd get these little golden nuggets. Having people trust you, you can't buy it, you have to earn it. And you have to be truly interested in what you're talking to them about. You can't just flap your jaws. So I decided to engage. I didn't worry about the closing of the deal. I was interested in being a professional visitor and learning, oh, cool, you went to Africa? There's pictures all over the walls. Or, somebody would show me product that their business made or something like that. The hardest job that anybody's going to find is working through people. If those people don't have a passion and they don't want to be great, it's frustrating. I believe that everybody learns and retains differently. It's the nuances, the little details. After all, the big details are not hard to miss. Put the lock on the door. The little details about having a tarp and a vacuum cleaner and booties on your shoes and your teeth looking good and your hair looking good and your beard looking good or whatever. It's the whole package, the way you maintain, the way you present yourself. You have to be truly desire to be great. And the only way you get great is by pushing yourself more, spending more time, spending more caring effort, listening, as someone recently said to me, and performing even when you're not asked to perform. Over-deliver. I believe the way you deal with being higher cost, better materials, is everything is, you wake up in the morning and say, today's going to be a quality day. My clients are going to get a quality product. My clients have access to me. I'm a quality operation. I'm fully transparent, accessible. And you just stay with that quality and you have to deliver. You can't disappear. When in doubt, communicate. You have to communicate with the client. And you have to make it a personal pursuit that this one's not going to slip away. And that's fire in the belly. I would have to say, from the top down, the philosophy of our company is computers aren't answering the phones, humans are answering the phones. I'm accessible. Everybody who's a manager is accessible. Everything is published on our websites, cell phones, emails. And if you demand that you want to talk to Keith Fisher right now, today, or within a few minutes, or within an hour or so, then that's exactly what happens. So I believe it's going to be this phrase: large enough to serve you, small enough to care. And I believe that's the mantra